Thanks so much for being here in our hour of physical bliss. So let's start that process with our breath and our presence in a seated position. You can see it in a chair. You can sit on the edge of a cushion or blanket. And if you're on the chair, make sure you're sitting on the edge so that you can feel that pelvis tilt slightly forward, allowing for the curve in the low back. Feel free to take the hands to the thighs so we can have a feeling of the hands helping us connect to our gravity, to the earth, that stability. And notice your breath. Perhaps the breath feels a bit shallow, or maybe it's already got a depth to it. Maybe it has a certain temperature. But as we take this anchor through the sits bones, let's take a tour with our mind's eye as we close the eyes and travel to the base of our spine. As we just notice the breath again, continuing peaceful path of breath, harmony. Let's visit that tailbone at the base, in between the sits bones, gently up the curve of the low back, past the connections through the spine to the back of the ribs. Notice the physicality of the breath in those back of the ribs, so we can notice our back body. And then traveling up past the shoulder blades, let's that be a reminder to slide the shoulder blades down the back, connect them to the back of those ribs to support your posture, so that already when you get that sense of connection, the heart and the sternum rise a little bit taller. And travel up towards the nape of the neck, where we have the shoulders rolling away from the ears. The graceful curve of the neck leading up to the skull. Notice that the skull is that house for the top of our spine. Reaching in between the ears, and then we can send the energy through the crown of the head, almost as if someone's assisting you to lift up and make a little more space in the spine. Inhale. Exhale, let's drift to the sits bones and notice that anchor of the sits bones. So we're just cascading down the spine with our exhale. And with our inhale, we'll allow the breath to really fill the ribs in all directions. We have that beautiful shape of the ribs, front and back and sides. Let's see if we can celebrate that shape. A deep inhale. In the exhale, send a cascade, a water-like cascade of energy towards any areas that you feel need extra attention in the body. Each exhale allows the shoulders to drift away from the ears towards the floor. And we're just coming into a presence of ourselves, our physical selves, quieting the mind. The flurry of the mind, a bit like the waves on a lake, little ripples, and see if we can just slow those ripples down to stillness. Joining our mind in that conscious breath habit. It's along for the ride. Take the palms and face them up towards the sky. Take the back of the hands to the thighs and just notice that different sense of energy when you have the palms up. We're outwardly rotating the shoulders here just by the thumbs leading outward. Broadening the collarbones. Full exhale, and then allow the eyes to drift open. Continue this gentle cascading of breath in the exhale, but our next inhale will allow the arms to rise up towards the sky. And just feel as if there's a ball in between the palms and the fingers, bubble of positive energy. And let's use the sides of the body to lift up towards the sky. And then as you do this, bring the shoulders up towards the ears and then exhale the shoulders away from the ears, keeping that reach through the waistline. And then we're going to sweep our right hand down, palm down to the floor. Keep the left elevated as we lean over for a long side bend over to the right. Really anchor through the palm. Exhale nice and long. Releasing down. And then sweep the left arm up, bring the right arm up to join it. We'll take our lift, elevated arms and a twist here. So let's use our abdominals to turn towards the right and then the left. Keep the arms elevated and then we'll take the left palm down. Find that landing on the mat. Keep that right arm elevated and lean with an exhale over to the left. Opposite hip is your weight here, allowing a lifting out of that side waist to arc shape. And then lift back up, both arms up. Inhale, invite in the breath. Look up at the hands, just feeling a slight back bend there, and then bring the gaze forward. So keep the length in the spine as we bend the elbows and bring the thumbs to the base of the skull, to that occipital ridge. Beautiful pressure points, and we'll take our thumbs to those points, circle outward, tiny circles outward. And then circles inward. And let's slide the thumbs towards the ears and just pull out gently, gently tug on the ears. Notice the jaw loosens. That's kind of an invisible tension we have in that jaw. And then take the fingers to the third eye. Add some sense of stillness and grounding there through our fingertips. That sensation, glide along the eyebrows to the temples and give yourself a tiny self-massage there. Invite in that inhale and exhale. Lengthen the exhale. Take the hands behind the head. So we're just cupping, we can clasp the fingers, keep the elbows out to the side, and assist your gaze and your skull turning over towards the right, and then turning towards the left. Stay that elevated posture. Come back to center. As you look up, cup those hands underneath the skull so you can really support the lengthening of the neck. Inhale, exhale, guide that chin towards the heart. You feel free to drop the hands, drift them down to the thighs. More lengthening through the back of the neck. Keep the heart elevated, tall, shining bright. Trace a line up to center, neutral gaze. Let's take the fingers to the chin and just press into the fingers with your chin. And then the chin into the fingers and release. Take the right hand to the right cheek and just press into the cheek, hand into the cheek, and then come back. We're just getting a neck flexibility there. Left hand to left cheek. Press into the hand, hand into the cheek. And release. Take the hands to the back of the skull. Press the back of the skull into your hands. Hands into the skull. And release. Let's bring the thumbs under the armpits. And see if you can just get that lift from yourself. So an adjustment of your own. Lifting up the sides of the ribs. Ironing out the fascial connections along the side. In, lift up. And then continue to drift the arms up. Let's take a prayer position above the head. Just feel that reach. And then we'll take our prayer position and drift it down to above the crown of the head, down that center. Really bring your awareness to the center. That's going to drop all the way through the middle of the body to the middle of that pelvis. And then as you inhale, see if you can reach the crown of the head a little taller, making more space in the spine. And then bring the hands forward, keep them pressing together. And we'll bring the thumbs to the third eye. Stop here for a moment. Awareness of the stilling of the mind, and then come down to the heart. And from here, we'll just take a twist with our prayer position at the heart, turning to the right and turning to the left, anchoring through the sits bones. Really opening up, unhunching ourselves. And if you feel like crossing the legs in cross-legged, you can do that. And we'll take our wrists forward. So do some faucets, turning of faucets, just feeling the looseness through the fingers and the wrists. And waving at everybody, back of the hand, royal wave, and then up to the sky. We're taking that hallelujah. Celebrate, the weekend is coming. And then come on down, drift down to the floor. Fingertips, another rooting through those fingertips to beside us, allowing us to sit a little taller, maintaining that posture. Take the fingers behind you and the thumbs forward. So we're opening up across the chest. And then we'll inhale tall, exhale right ear to right shoulder. And really press through the left fingertips. You'll notice that lengthening along the left if you really press through the fingertips. Use your breath to release. Feel free to take your right hand, help the head up, stay tall through the neck, and exhale, fingers down, left ear to left shoulder. Cascade a sense of calm release. Press through the right fingertips. Excellent. And then we'll take our left ear to left hand to left ear. Stay tall there. Roll the shoulders behind you. So we're unrounding the back. And feel free to go forward as well. Oh, excellent. Now we're ready to move. So let's help those thighs up if you're in cross-legged, and we're going to come to recline on the mat. Getting into bridging and core work. If you have a chair, before I go down here, I was just going to say too, if you want to have a chair nearby you today for our dancer pose, just for some extra balance, you can do that. Or to have your legs up on the chair for Shavasana, but I have that nearby and I'll demonstrate that. For now, let's take the feet to the base of the mat, spread the toes, just look down at your toes and see which toes have a little more challenge, spreading out and making that space. Lift the toes and then press them down onto the mat. Really maximize the surface of your foot so we have a sense of connection through the feet, even in our reclined position. Ease yourself back, take the hands behind you, elbows behind you, and snake that spine on down to the floor. Take the hands to the back of the skull. Gentle with yourself, coming down to the mat. And then we take our bridge stance. So feet are going to be hip width apart and the knees are hip width apart. Inhale. Exhale, let's take the block and place that between the thighs. So we have another rooting through our muscles in the middle there of the legs that, again, a little more of a hidden muscle, just like the jaws or the back body. Some of these places are harder to tap into. So let's squeeze the block and take the arms beside the body. You can take your feet out further if you don't want to flex the knees quite as much. Feel free to bridge with the feet further out, or you can take them closer to your fingertips with your arms nice and long. So let's press through the feet. Inhale. Cascade that breath down to the tailbone. Exhale, see if you can roll your shoulders down towards the mat. So glue those shoulders to the mat for the moment. Back of the shoulders. Great. From here, this strong base through the entire arm, let's lift the hips up towards the sky, float on up. And then just snake the spine down. So we're just simply bridging up, squeezing that block and coming down. Inhale. Let's make a wave through the spine, all of those intricacies, getting that sense of oil can to the joints. Lift up again. And then down. One more time, lift up. Stay there and take your fingers clasped underneath the sacrum at the base of the spine. You'll see that the shoulders, you'll feel that the shoulders roll away from the ears even more. And we can press through the arms, staying lifted, sternum towards the chin, soft gaze towards the blue sky. Allow the breath to float up towards the base of the spine and then down, really cascaded. Full exhale. Stay here lifted, toning through our glutes. And then release the hands and snake your spine back down to the floor. And then just grab the block. And we're going to lift the hips up. Some folks find having a block underneath the hips is not as spa-like, so don't do that. But if you'd like to place that block on the low setting beneath the sacrum, do that now. And we'll just get some oxygenation into the upper part of the body. Take the fingers, and if you're not using the block, you can elevate with a folded blanket. I would recommend some little lift, so a soft blanket underneath that sacrum can be nice. So get situated there, and just reach the arms towards the base of the mat. Inhale. Let's see if we can lift the knees up towards the sky, keeping those feet active. So we're balancing on the sacrum. This is another sense of balance here. And again, we're going to get that oxygenation towards the head and lift the legs up, straighten up towards the sky. With a supported shoulder stand. So if you have the blanket underneath and you want to keep the knees slightly bent just to support your low back, feel free to do that. Just play around. You can point and flex the feet. Playful tiptoeing through the tulips there. And then if you want to bend the knees and bring the feet together, the soles of the feet together, drift the feet down towards the base of the pelvis and then back up again. So we have a nice anti-gravity here for our hips, lifting them up. And repeat the straight legs and then the butterfly knees. So any kind of swelling in the legs, things like that, this is fantastic to lift the legs up. And let them hang out here for a moment. Repeat. Also nice toning through those lower abdominals. Sweet. Okay, we'll drift the feet towards the floor. Bridge up, remove the block. And this time, let's lift the arms next to the ears. So we're keeping that lengthening sense through the body. So we're arching through the upper spine, the mid and upper spine, and the glutes are supporting that lift of the hips. Inhale, get long. Exhale, lift the arms towards the sky. Elbows down, take a little push through those elbows into the mat on the way down, and then snake down. Now we've given a lot of beautiful attention to the spine. And let's take our hamstrings on a little stretch too. So inhale, let's see if you have a strap nearby. Oh, mine is hiding under here. So here we go. Bring the right knee towards the chest. And since we'll be doing some forward bends, let's take our hamstrings and give them a little break. So take the strap around the ball of the right foot and reach it up towards the sky. As you reach up, take the strap around the ball of the foot and support whatever angle of your leg you'd like. At the same time, reaching towards the sky. Exhale a sense of grounding through the hips so that we're plugging the ball and socket. So the top of that, the hip socket, just plugging in there. And you might feel that sensation along the back of our leg and bend and straighten. So we can just wake up the hamstrings gradually. Breathe with the sensations. We can slide the right heel towards the left hip, keeping the knee aligned with the middle toes. So feel that sense of lifting, but on this next exhale, see if you can bring your mind's eye to the right hip, very deep inside that right hip, and drop down towards the floor. So feel a gravity there, and then bend and straighten the leg. Softening while we bend and straighten. And just a suggestion to our legs to release the back body. So again, those hammies are part of the back body. Sometimes they just tighten up anyway, but sometimes it's easy to forget about them. So let's bring the foot back to neutral, and we'll guide our toes over towards the right shoulder and then bend and straighten here. So we get a little outward rotation through the leg. A tour of our hamstring. And then when you're ready, release the knee towards the chest and release the strap, and lengthen your right leg along the mat and then the left leg, so we can feel the hips. Maybe they're a little bit feeling slightly uneven or wonky, or maybe the leg feels longer than the other. Let's take the knees and bring the feet to the floor, bend them, and we'll inhale the left knee towards the chest. Take the strap around the ball of the foot and rise on up to your angle of choice. Keep those toes really reaching and spreading, and we'll bend and straighten. Remember, as you reach up, reach through the heel, but then also a sense of connection in the left hip and anchoring there, as if you have a sandbag, just keeping you connected and plugged in to the hip. And then we'll take our left heel towards the right hip. Find the sensation, notice it, be present with it, and bend and straighten. Breathing, just the sense of conscious breath is a fantastic way to just be present, bringing our mind and body and spirit in harmony. And then bring our foot back to neutral. Let's tilt those toes out towards the left shoulder, bend and straighten. Back body. Even some attention and intention as well. And then bend the left knee, release the foot to the floor, lengthen out both legs. Maybe we feel a little bit taller. And then notice as you flop the feet out to the side, the hips open up. So we're rotating outward from the hips, just noting that these rotations coming from the hips, not from the feet or the knees, keeping our knees healthy. We're going to roll over onto our belly. So that's an easy trip over here. And take the forehead to the mat. And take the hands beside the shoulders. So your top of the feet are on the floor here. We're going to do our baby cobra. Take the elbows to the ribs. So let's inhale some length. So reach through the crown of the head, through the tips of the toes. Inhale. Exhale, find the floor, find the hands on the floor, the tops of the feet. And then your next inhale, let's lift the head off the mat and lift the shoulders up. Baby cobra. Keep the tailbone pointing towards the heels and exhale down. Easier here to get a sense of cascading down the spine as we lift up, visiting with our mind's eye that tailbone and then coming down. Find the floor, find the earth, and press through the tops of the feet. So we activate the legs. The legs, the tops of the feet are anchor. The hands should be light on the floor. Bring the forehead down to the mat. And we're going to reach the arms next to the ears. More lengthening. So we're just seeing if we can encourage those longer muscles to grow a few millimeters or just a millimeter today. Inhale through the fingertips and through the tips of the toes. And then let's get our core strengthened as we lift the left arm up in the head and then the right leg. Exhale down, moving meditation here as we lift the right arm and the head and the left leg. Lift up and down, repeat each side. Can your breath and your movements find that rhythm together? Exhale completely down to the mat. And we're going to reach up, really grow through the spine, lengthen everything, and take off the mat. Inhale, legs and arms. Inhale and exhale. Notice that toning as you point the tailbone towards the heels, and then come on down. Take one ear to the mat. Sway the hips side to side, just loosening up the lower back a little bit there. Right, sweet. Take that forehead down. And we're going to do a little bit of a new poses today. We've done this once before, or maybe twice. We're going to try bow pose. So if any of this is uncomfortable for your low back, I want you to go into a baby cobra or something that's a little more familiar. But with our forehead on the floor, we're going to bend our knees. So both legs are going to come up, the soles of the feet to the sky. So we're making our legs at that right angle, lifting up, but continuing to point through the tailbone as we lift up. And if there's any confusion, just have a look up here. And then we're going to reach our arms towards the heels. So those heels are lifted, they're off the floor. We're going to reach the fingertips towards them. So the shoulders are going to come off the mat. Find that sense of grounding, and we're going to inhale, lengthen to the spine and lift the head off the mat. Reach back for those heels. You don't have to touch them. Just reach back and then come back down to the floor. And if any of you have this in your practice to do a bow pose where you actually reach for your feet and touch the feet or touch the heels with your fingertips. But I want everyone to be careful with the low back here. If you have this in your practice, you want to make sure to point the tailbone down towards the base of the mat. And our next inhale will bring us up again. If you find those feet or the ankles, just allow that grounding sense of connection between the hands and the feet. Bow pose. Lengthen through the back of the neck and then come down. Take the hands below the head for a little pillow. Forehead on the hands. Rest the third eye. Inhale, lengthen the spine just energetically, and exhale. Sigh out as if you're releasing through a soft breeze through the third eye. And then we'll take the hands beside the shoulders, ease ourselves up so you can come through a knee pull, push up if you'd like to get some core strength, or just come on up the way you can towards tabletop. And we'll take a blanket underneath the shins. And the wrists come below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. My hair tie has disappeared. Oh, well. Okay, come to tabletop and find that horizontal in the spine. See if you can tone that navel slightly towards the spine, especially as you exhale. Notice that even to maintain this posture, we are activating our core. Just the breath here, interacting with those muscles, but we'll definitely get into some core work as well. So let's take a cat-cow here. Let's reach the back body up towards the sky, arc up, a rainbow shape of the spine. Look at the knees and then exhale. We're really, again, let's talk about cascading, tailbone, lower back, mid back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and shoulders away from the ears. And then we look up into cow. Transition to cat. And again, cow. Meditate. You can close the eyes. Just as we close the eyes, we just have a better view of our spine, seeing ourselves in space. And let's find a neutral spine. Open the eyes, and we're going to go side to side. So we're going to arc that spine shape side to the right and side to the left. Some people interpret this wagging the tail. And the next time you go to the left, see if you can turn the neck and just gaze over towards the left toes. Come back through center, look down, over to the right, and then gaze back at your toes. And then bring it back to neutral. We'll take that block. So we're going to, oh no, we're not doing the block yet. Sorry, that's later. Okay, come on, we're going to go to down dog. So take the hands below you and make sure they're about shoulder width apart. Curl the toes under, lift yourself off of that blanket and back to down dog. So we're going to really take our easing into down dog, pushing away from the hands, bringing the ribs to those bent knees and bringing the right heel down. And inhaling that right heel up and left heel goes down. Find the ease in the back of those hamstrings. Now we have stretched them, so it should be easier for us to come up. Let's tiptoe both feet, ribs to the thighs, and then bring the heels down towards the floor, float them down. As we push away with the hands, ease the face, roll the shoulders away from the ears, down dog. Inhale, float forward into a full plank if that's comfortable for you, or your knees down. Find the length through the heels all the way to the crown of the head. Follow the breath back to down dog. You can always take puppy pose or tabletop if that works for you. Come forward in a plank. And then back to down dog. So we're going to take a three-legged dog. We haven't done this yet. So let's take our left foot and place it a little more towards the center of the mat. And find the line on the left side. So you nice long line up to that left hip lifting up. Let's see if we can lift the right leg off the floor. So right foot comes up. And we just find a nice long line on the right. Any confusion, just look up here. And softly come down, right foot comes down, goes over towards the center, and we lift the left leg up. Really toning through the arms too, so you're keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Oh my goodness, and then come down. We'll come to our basic down dog. And then we're going to push walk our hands to the feet as the feet come down, ribs to the thighs. Let's stay in our ribs to thigh position here. Feet hip width apart. Take that blanket over to the side, hang the head down. Look at the world upside down, bat cave view. Take the thumbs to the elbow creases. Inhale, feel the lifting of the back body. Exhale, drop down into that upside down and feel longer in your spine. Take the fingertips to the floor. Inhale, let the back float up to a horizontal, so a flat back. And then release down. Cascade the spine over the thighs. And now let's core activate as we sweep the arms behind us. Reach up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale the arms down and then up next to the ears. Imagine a block between the thighs. Chair pose. And step on those feet and just come on up. Exhale the arms next to the body. Excellent. So let's transition to our standing sequence. And I would like to suggest taking a chair to the top of your mat if you want help with that dancer pose balancing. Again, we can do it all imperfectly, so we have help with our props. So let's stand away from the chair just a little bit as we begin at the top of the mat. We're going to do this flow a few times. So find your solid mountain pose. Invite the breath through the crown of the head, down the center of the body, light up that core center. Find the lift through your quads that are going to lift the knees up and protect them. Draw the feet together as if there's a magnet between them, not any physical pulling, but just a drawing together, and notice the glutes wake up. And now we're strong in our base. So we're going to take ourselves to the left foot balance, lifting the right foot off the floor. Let's take it into a right angle and find your balance here, square off the hips. And then we can point the right foot forward. And we're going to take a long leg there, straight leg, and then trace a line in the sand behind you. And then we're going to transition, take the arms out, wingspan, and see if you can find some balance here, lifting the right foot off the floor. So towards a warrior three, if you like a full warrior three and you really want to get that navel towards the spine to a core action, you can do that here, or just ease into this flying position. And then step back on the right foot. We're going to widen our stance here and come into warrior one. Left foot forward towards the top of the mat. Angle the back foot. Find what's comfortable for you to keep your hips pointing towards the top of the mat. Connect the feet. Inhale the arms up next to the ears. Lengthen, inhale, exhale, drop the hips, drop the pelvis down as you bend the front knee over the two middle toes. Find harmony with the breath here. Find the connection, the feet, the hands, all of it. Warrior one, ease through the face. Remember that hand press we did to the face, to the chin earlier. Just see if you can find that alignment of the head on the shoulders. And then with that full wingspan, again, we're going to tiptoe forward with the right foot up towards the top of the mat. Now we're going to switch our stance to the right. So find solid mountain, beam of light down the center, and we'll take it to the right foot. So we're going to bend the left knee, kind of like we did when we were in bow pose. That leg's going to go into a right angle. And we're going to lift the right arm next to right ear. Find the line between those top fingers and the bottom foot, of course, but then also that bent knee. So strong through the right glute. We're going to hinge forward towards the chair. Hold onto the chair if you need to. And just keep that long line of your left hip to the left knee as you hold on or challenge your balance. Dancer pose. Buoyant. And exhale, bring the feet down together. If you need to step away from the chair, we'll take it to the other side. So step strongly through your right leg, the right foot, lift the left knee off the floor. Right angle, find your balance, take your time. Hips forward, keep that steadiness through the torso as you point the left toes forward. Left leg, draw that line in the sand behind you. And balance with the wingspan of your arms. See if you can fly a little bit here. Keep that back foot active. Soar in the air, feel the breeze as you fly, and then step back, prepping for our warrior one. Take the width that's comfortable for you in that stance. Connect the feet. Inhale the arms next to the ears. Bend down. Draw the hips down. Keep the knee behind the middle two toes. Remember that ball of energy between our hands earlier. Let's keep it there. Drawing us floating energy, buoyancy. We're going to sweep the arms again into wingspan and tiptoe forward into our mountain pose. Now we'll bring the stance to the left side. Hold on to the chair if you need to, and bend the right knee so that the sole of the foot stays active, that active foot, flex foot. Inhale the left arm next to your ear. Hold on to the chair if you need to, as you strengthen that left side and hinge forward into a modified dancer pose. Remember that deep core, low ribs, activated. Come on back up. Find your base again. Exhale. Shake it out if you'd like. And then we'll repeat this time taking more of a step in dancer pose that's a little further out. So let's take our mountain stance. Inhale the arms up above the head. Draw prayer position down. Third eye, steady, down to the heart. Arms next to the body. And we'll take the right leg up again. Find your balance, find equilibrium, equanimity. Point the right foot out, draw the line in the sand, and lift, fly. Exhale. Step back. Find your warrior one. Enjoy the soundtrack of your breath. Wingspan out, step forward. Mountain. Right foot as our base. And we're going to bend the left leg. Right arm next to right ear. And then we'll take, if you can, find the left hand to the left foot. Fabulous, but if not, keep that reach that we did before. You can stay in modified. Important thing here is pointing that tailbone towards the base so we can hinge and activate that core forward into dancer pose. Hold the chair anytime you need it. Make sure that support knee on the floor, the standing leg is supported with the quads. Come back up. Exhale, release. Mountain pose. Breathe. We're going to lift the right knee. Square off the hips. Point the right toes, sweep back, fly. Keep that length in the right leg, reach back. Land down. Navigate your way to warrior one. And then wingspan out. Top of the mat. Bend the right leg. Stand on the left. Inhale the left arm next to your ear. And see if you can reach that heel behind you, or the right toes, or make sure the whole time, by the way, that you keep that knee not going outward on the right side, but just in line with the left. And then lean forward. Dancer. Find your breath. Find the soft gaze. Find the stillness and the subtle movements. And release. Roll the shoulders behind you. Take the hands to the hips, make circles, one direction. Stir things up. And then we'll take it to the other wet direction. Using our feet as a strong base, let's take a side bend here, taking that right hand to the left wrist, lifting the arms up. Lean over with the strong stepping through that left foot as you lean over to the right. And then float on up. Left hand grabs right wrist and we just float over. And finding the right foot strong on the floor. Lean to the left. Find a little more length in that side waist. Use your breath to come back up. Prayer position above the head. Comes down to crown of head. Third eye to the heart. Inhale. Exhale, drop the arms next to the body, and we'll just move the chair away for a moment. Coming back to the mat, let's find a block. Let's come to the base of the mat. Take the block in between the thighs. More core awareness and activation through sensation. Let's squeeze the block so we can feel that mountain pose really fortified. And then we're going to take the hands to the hip points and hinging there. We're just going to keep our legs nice and strong, lifting the quads so we support the knees and just lean forward at a diagonal and then back up again. So we're tilting forward into a forward bend, but supported as we squeeze the block, supporting that strength below so that the low back doesn't take that extra load. And one more time, let's do this tilting forward. And then when we come back up, we're going to find our palms to the base of the low back and the elbows go behind the body. Press it down with your fingertips, slide the palms down that low back. Find the length in the lumbar spine there. So you're encouraging length there. And then the heart, if it had eyes, it would look up at the sky. Unround ourselves, look up, enjoy your mind's eye, inviting a beautiful blue sky. And then come to neutral spine, hands to hips again, and we'll just hinge forward. Go far as you'd like with the squeezing the block and then come on back up. Another little back bend here with the elbows behind us. Exhale, forward. Let's hinge down. And if you'd like to go down with the legs straight, you can, or bend the knees and your hands will find the floor, however you need to. Or come through a forward bend and then walk the hands out, bend the knees for taking a down dog with a block between the thighs. Prop supported, heels find the floor, squeeze the block. Spread the fingers. Squeezing the block, feel free to float into plank if you'd like that extra core work. Or just stay in down dog. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. Let's bring the knees down to the mat very gently. Remove the block from between the thighs. And then we'll find our way to the floor. Anytime you want to make those planks into a more a push-up or anything, you can always level up to that if you'd like. But since we're doing gentle, we'll ease ourselves down. And on the left side, we'll come down on the left side and then on to the back. Let's take a figure 4. We haven't get our piriformis nice and stretched. Inhale the left knee towards the face. Take the left ankle over the right thigh. Stay here in figure 4, just an easy figure 4 for a moment, noticing the opening in your left hip. Float the right thigh towards you, clasp the fingers to the back of the thigh. Anyone who'd like to have more hamstring stretch, you could take the sole of the foot on the right foot to the sky. Lengthen out, straighten the leg. Anchoring through the hips into the sacrum, that amazing triangle, all of these shapes reminding us of our miraculous structure. Bend the right knee, sole of the right foot comes to the floor. We're going to take this into a twist. So if you want to join me, you can do that. If you have knee issues, please don't do this. Please come out of figure 4. Bring the knees together and just come over onto your right side. If you're with me in figure 4, we're going to roll onto the right side and bring the left foot down to the floor. And the right hand grabs that left ankle. So we're on our side here and we're bending that right knee. So just reaching, just taking that a right angle in the leg. Inhale the left hand to the heart, elbow to the sky. We'll open up into a twist with the back body easing towards the floor, the back of the ribs. Look over the left hand if you'd like. You know the version of this where you take hold of that right foot with your left hand, but that version of twister is not required. You can just do that if you want a quad stretch or if you've done it before. Figure 4 twist and release. Come on to figure 4 or come on up to your back and then take the right knee towards the chest, right ankle to the left thigh. Stay right here or grab for the back of your left thigh. Choose yogi's choice to take that hamstring or not. The left leg. Cascading exhale. Float the left foot down to the floor. We'll turn this figure 4 into a twist, or you just come in with the knees together and come on to the left side. The right foot comes to the floor. You can see here, I'm just bending that left knee into a right angle. Step strong through that right leg. Inhale the right hand to the chest, elbow to the sky, and then release the back of the ribs as we open up into a twist. Gazing over the right fingertips. Or you can see if the right hand finds those left toes or left foot. If not, Leave it as is. Continue the pressing of that left foot so we protect the knee here. And then release the hands. Come back onto the back. Unwind the figure four here. Bring the knees together, the feet up wide apart. One hand to your heart, one hand to the belly. Easy pose, just noticing this lifting off the pressure of the low back. Celebrating this movement we've made together, just changing things up, changing the courses of our habitual movement that's embedded in our brains and shifting it up. So if you'd like to use the chair now, you can really give a nice treat to your low back. If you take your legs up the chair, just have the back of those calves on the seat. And just notice that lovely sensation of lifting the work off of those quads. Allow the arms to drift beside you, palms up to the sky. No doing is necessary, just being for a few moments of breath. Inhale. Exhale. Allow the mind to travel with the breath. Feel the ease in the body. The peace in the mind. The shift in the spirit from practicing together. And the wider connection with our amazing earth, atmosphere. Supports our life forms in all they do. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the joints, the wrists and the elbows and the knees. Find yourself on your right side. And then help yourself up to a seated position with your hands. Allow the head to droop. It's the last to rise. I hope you feel lighter and ready for a lovely day or evening. Inhale the palms to the sky, prayer position, traces our amazing line down the center, past the third eye to the heart. Thanks so much for joining me in our practice today. Namaste.